Hi everybody, and welcome to Down Home with the Coonrod Clan. My name is Brett, and this is my wife Stephanie, in case we haven't met before. We are a couple who has been married for 14 years.
13
going on 14 years.
This whole thing is 13 things in 13 years.
There we go. Hi everybody, and welcome to Down Home with the Coonrod Clan. My name is Brett, this is my wife Stephanie. We've been married for 14 years.
13.
I said 14 years again. Stephanie and I have been married for 13 years. We have 5 wonderful daughters. And so today we would like to share with you 13 things we've learned in 13 years of marriage.
So we're on that unlucky year of marriage. We're on year 13, but we are rewriting the script and we are making it lucky 13. If you are in the same boat where you are maybe on year 12 and about to go to year 13, or maybe you're on 13 like we are, we're going to bring this to you and help you get through that unlucky 13, because for us it hasn't been unlucky. It's been very great of a 13 year. So hopefully what we tell you will just help you keep going to year 53 or 63 or 73, you know.
That's right.
So that's the goal with this.
So our number 1 is, much like the first commandment in the Bible, God is first. He should be your number 1 go-to every time.
On everything. And that was something that we didn't always do well, but we learned very quickly when God was not the center, things would just crumble apart. So yes, that's number 1. God needs to be at the center of every decision, every argument, he just has to be in the center of it all. So number 2, now this is for all you married couples that are still, you might be young in this and you're looking to us for advice. Year 1 through 5, well really year 1 through 7 can be really hard. It's not all rainbows and butterflies. I mean, even at year 13, it's not all rainbows and butterflies.
That's right. You're bringing 2 families together, 2 different ways of being raised, 2 different people with different opinions.
Different baggage.
Different baggage. And when you take those and put them together, well, there's going to be some fireworks.
Yes. And so but realizing that just helps right off the bat, because you can have more patience with just even acknowledging that you understand that.
Number 3, people change.
One of you might be changing, or both of you might be changing. I know that I am not the same woman I was 13 years ago, and Brett is not the same man he was 13 years ago. We are completely different. Our faith is different. I mean, it's stronger. We're somewhat wiser. I would hope that we're wiser.
She is.
No, you are too. No, you grow, and I would hope that we look back on this video and in 20 years and have
grown even more. And you have to love the person where you're at.
Yes, and even your faith might become stronger, or maybe one of you might go kind of through a law in your faith, and you have to, again, love each other through those times of when the other person has changed. So number 4 is forgiveness. It's so important to forgive your spouse even if they don't apologize or say sorry.
Unforgiveness is like locking yourself in a prison cell, and you're just stuck in this prison cell of unforgiveness, and you can't even get out of it.
Yeah, you won't be growing in your faith. You're kind of like stagnant. It's almost like taking poison and expecting the other person to die from the poison. That's kind of like unforgiveness.
There's just so many things that an unforgiving heart is going to poison. Everything your partner does will be seen as a bad thing or be seen in a bad light, and it just really destroys your relationship.
And it all stems from unforgiveness. So that is a huge one, even though it was number 4, where that really should have been like number 2.
Yeah,
but right. Either way, these really kind of don't have a certain order.
So forgive often and forgive freely.
Yes. Number 5 is communication.
That's right. Guys, this is a key. Ladies too, but for men especially, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. That means it's twice as important to listen as it is to speak. Listen to your wives, not just when they're next to you talking at you.
Because we can talk a lot. Ladies, we can talk, and it's important for women to allow our men to talk here. I just interrupted you, so that probably was a good idea. But also for men to be listening to their wives as much as we
That's
talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
That's right. Listen to your wife when she's next to you. Listen to her when she's across the room talking on the phone to her friends or her mother. Listen to her when she's talking to the children. And there are so many little nuggets of information that are so valuable that you can pull out of and glean from their conversations, even when they're not even talking to you. Number 6, don't assume. You know the old saying, when you assume, you make a out of you and me.
Yes.
Right?
So you don't want to assume because it makes you look like a butt.
That's right. That's right. You're gonna look like a butt to the person that you're assuming things about,
Yes.
and guess what? They're gonna seem like a butt to you because you're making this assumption. So there's just butts everywhere when you do that. So
Yeah.
don't
So no
even-
assuming. Just don't assume. Make sure it goes back to what we just said. Communicate before you assume anything.
That's right. Keep the butts out of your relationship.
Yes. Shouldn't have said yes to that. I keep the assuming out of your relationship. Number 7, intimacy gets better over time. Now, some of you newlyweds might be looking at us like there's no way because that newlywed phase is awesome, but it gets better. It gets better. You get more comfortable with each other, and it gets better. If you are a newlywed and you're in that year 1 through 5, you're gonna just have to trust us and know that it gets better. If
That's
you're
right.
doing all these things, make sure you're doing all these things, and it gets better.
That's right. If you put the work in, physical intimacy and emotional intimacy is just going to get better over time. Number 8, on that same note, intimacy is going to look different over time as well. As you grow closer together, as things change in your relationship, that intimacy is going to change too.
Like we had mentioned for the honeymoon phase, that beginning phase, like just holding hands or touching is different than when you've been married for a long time. Now, notice we're actually still touching now, but it's different. Like when we were first dating and when we first got married, it'd be like, oh, I have to touch you. Like now it's this like comfortable cuddle blanket. I don't know the word. That is not the right word, but almost like this security with each other.
Yeah, when she walks into the room, I can feel an instant connection that it's not the same when you're first dating or even when you first get married. There's this connection that's there, and it's a strong bond that breaches barriers and goes through walls and can be felt with just the simplest text that's done in the right way.
He made me get teary-eyed on that one. That was a good answer. He got me teary-eyed. So number 9, love languages change. Now, if you are not familiar with the 5 love languages, that's okay. The point of this is how you're showing love to the other person and how they receive your love can be different. But you have all of them, but they can be tweaked throughout the years. So making sure that you're communicating with your spouse what is filling your love tank is really important. Again, that goes back, it all ties in, the communication.
That's right, ties into communication, ties into don't make assumptions that your love language hasn't changed.
Yeah.
So that's why communication is so important, because when those changes come about,
you've talked about
it and you're aware.
Yeah. Number 10, and this is so neat to be saying in this year 13 of marriage, is wrinkles and gray hair are sexy, really sexy. We know the moments that have caused these gray hairs or wrinkles or frown lines or smile lines. We know them. So when we look at each other, it's like, I don't know, I know something about you that nobody else knows. It's again, that bond, that intimacy that no one else on this planet knows except the two of you. And that's really cool to have that bond with only one other person on this earth. Obviously God knows, but on this earth, you know what I mean?
Number 11, pray for your spouse. We don't have a more powerful thing on this planet than prayer.
Mm-hmm.
God does so much through prayer. If there's something that's going on between you two, if there's an issue, if there's something that seems like there's no way you're going to overcome it, pray about it. Because God can move mountains literally. He rearranges weather for us literally, all on our request and our prayers. Pray for your spouse. When there's an issue, pray for your spouse. When everything's wonderful, pray for your spouse. And it's also important to pray together with your spouse. That's an intimate thing.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if you're having a really heated argument and you stop to pray.
Mm.
It diffuses.
Completely.
It makes people stop and think. It's like hitting a reset button
Yes.
almost. So make sure that you're doing that with your spouse, for your spouse, and constantly.
Yes. Number 12 is cling to each other during really hard seasons. And whether that hard season is an individually hard season or if it's something you're facing together.
Yeah. Those hard seasons, if you cling to each other, will strengthen your bond and it will bring you closer together. You'll learn more about each other through those hard seasons, especially if you're fighting those hard seasons side by side.
All right,
Lucky number 13.
It is never give up.
That's right, marriage is worth fighting for. You'll go through the hard times, you'll come out on the other side stronger, you'll have those moments of joy that is just inexplicable. So never give up on the marriage. Fight for it.
It's worth the fight. Your marriage is worth fighting for. It's worth putting the effort on. It's worth doing the research and the studies. It's worth pushing through those really hard seasons. Both Brett and I have been through seasons where our marriage was like a twig about to snap, a burning twig that was about to snap.
That was lit on both ends and in the middle.
Yes, but we fought through it and we pushed through it by God's grace, and here we are, and we are going to be here in another 50 years because we are determined to honor God in our marriage and bring Him glory through this union that He has ordained.
So those are our 13 things that we've learned over 13 years of marriage. We hope that this has been a blessing to you. I know it's been a blessing to me, especially the part about being married to you for 13 years. Let us wrap it up by saying we hope you guys are blessed with the video, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.